Hello, everybody. Joe Bag of Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Full Metal Demon Muramasa. Yeah, bit of a longer cliffhanger than I anticipated. My long 4-day weekend disappeared into nothingness. Had to house and dog sit for one of my friends when they were out of town. Our other mutual friend who was supposed to do it had a family emergency come up, and they weren't able to do that, so I covered for him. And, there went my whole weekend and my entire week because, I just slept at their house, drove to work, worked, drove back, took care of their dogs, went to bed, rinse, repeat for the entire week. So I tried running home, once on one of those weekend days to do a episode of Utawari Durumono, which, I was able to, but it was short and it was also right before I had to go to work, and it's like, I can't keep doing this, mainly because it's a lot of driving, and I didn't want to pay for all that gas, so you guys were the ones who had to suffer because of it. I do not apologize for anything. Anyway, yeah, last time had a bit of a little altercation there, which really made my jaw and my mouth tired. Because it was like an hour straight of just internal monologuing and set dressing. So, seems like it'll be a little less than that this time. Hopefully. Ugh. And don't forget, we're still on the bad end. So, once this is all done, we're still eventually going to go back and reload, even though that's been like 3 weeks ago for me. So, yeah. I'm entirely out of coffee in my house, so you're just gonna have to deal with me being slow in the head, which, isn't very different than the normal circumstances, but, a little slower than normal. Is that my phone vibrating? No, I think it's just the background of the game track being weird. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. Let's get started.
はい、どうも。さっき買い置きを全部使い切っちゃったもんでさ。
はあ、しかしよろしいので。
About what?
いいんだよ。
は
ああ、でもとりあえず他言無用でね。
あ、はい。
Oh, hey, look at that. You're alive too. Yeah.
もし。
気づかれましたか。動かれない方がよろしい。傷に触ります。
I don't want your guts falling out.
この手当は。
Well, yeah, you're worth more to us alive than dead, so.
はい。自分が。
肌を。
It was a medical procedure. Don't be weird about it.
失礼。何分。処置は急を要していたものですから。
Just lie and say your mom did it. Or that my mother was present, so don't worry. There were no suspicious actions taken, no ulterior motives.
席を外した方がよ。
ずっとそこに。
Yeah, you gotta make sure you don't choke on your own tongue.
応急の処置はいたしましたが、何分にも医療は専門外。いつどのような容体の変化があるとも知れず。と言って、あなたのご都合を思うと、軽々しく医者も言わ
Yeah,
ず。
probably not too many people who would want to come, fix up the leader of the band of bandits harassing the town. Hippocratic oath be damned. Fuck you.
せめて何事かあればすぐに応じられるよう控えておりました。何かご所望はありますか。
いえ、別に。
そうですか。では、どうぞそのまま。後ほどまた様子を見に参ります。
はい。
So bad you fuck her up.
負けた。
Yep. Fair and square.
負けたのね。
Fucking ate dirt.
どうした？なんかあったか？
スバル様。いえ、今しがた目覚められた。
Yeah, the air's a little heavy in there.
自分がそばにいては休むのに触ろうかと。
そっか、そいつはよかった。暴れ出したりしてない？
落ち着いておられます。状況を把握していないだけなのかもしれませんが。
Yeah, getting like cleaved in two will do that to you.
まあ、今は刀振り回そうったって無理だろう。なんぼ武者でもね。
剣も持参していませんから。
Does that mean we can just steal it?
真打ちの剣は装甲されてなくても主の傷を癒すくらいはできるっつうけど、数打ちじゃ無理か。こうや
剣の力を使われていたら、そもそも自分ではこうすべくもなかったでしょう。
Like you could use a motorcycle, yeah?
それを思うとやっぱ幸運だな、こっちにとっちゃ。なんで向こうさんは武者のくせにわざわざ生身で勝負挑んできたんだ？
I don't know, fucking
よ
honor.
っぽどの変
Some
人な
fucking
のかな。
dumb shit, don't worry about it.
いえ、彼女は単に根が無人なのです。虐殺を良しとしません。剣はあくまで闘争のために用いるのです。
なんか見えたかね、息子よ。
はい。見るべき
If
も
you say so,
の
sure.
見たように思います。
あの娘どうする？
動かせるようになり次第、山の陣地へ送り届けましょう。剣があれば回復も早いはずですから。
それでいいの？
はい。
I mean, she might be able to, actually, whip him into shape now.
ならそうすればいいさ。
And, if anyone gives her any lips, she does have,
お休みですか？
the Tsurugi, so.
いえ、どうぞ。
お加減はいかがでしょう？
悪くありません。痛みもさほどには。
Yeah, probably gonna have a nasty scar, though.
何よりです。
Unless, like,
夜にはもう一度包帯を取
Tsurugi
り替え
healing
ます。
factor,
汗も拭いた
is
方
so
が良い
good
で
you
しょ
don't
う
even
から。
get scars.
あなたがまた。
は？
No, not us.
いえ、今度は
I mean,
母がおりますので。
unless.
そうですか。
For a moment, she seems disappointed. Must be my eyes playing tricks on me.
その食事は
Nah,
で
it's,
きますか？
you don't get it, bro. Like, women just love it when you beat the shit out of them, Don't clip that.
今はあまり。
無理にとは申しませんが、夕食はできれば少しでも。栄養。
はい。でも、
So, goddamn it, fucking
手を
Kageyaki, you
使う
talk
の
so
も
slow.
なかなか。
そこは自分が。
そうですか。
There we go, earning some affection points with the bandit leader. Cool. She's not on the affection chart, so, Oh, gee, I wonder what's gonna happen to her. Oh. For a moment, she seems excited. Must be my brain jellifying on me.
あなたは
はい。
何も尋ねようとなさらない。
Oh, well, you've broken her like a horse, Now she's gonna be all meek and domesticated.
よろしいのですか？
ええ。疑問に思うことは何もありません。何も私は敗れた。
Yep, might makes right.
理解していますから。
Almost by reflex, words of humility leap to the forefront of my mind. It was luck that I won. Your skill was superior. If we fought again, it would be different, and so forth. But such words are the gravest of injuries that the victor can levy against the defeated, a desecration of the meaning and value of the duel. It is a praiseworthy feat, if I say so myself, that I'm able to stop myself before they slip from my tongue. Seeking an escape, I let my gaze wander. I can still see her out of the corner of my eye. She's looking at me, or rather staring, Her eyes never leave me. My cheeks burn under her gaze.
けれど
はい。
もう少し取り乱しても良いのでしょうね。本当は力を尽くして破れる。それがこう
Hey,
いうもの
look,
だ
and
と
you
は
lived.
思いませんで
You
し
live
た。
to tell the tale about it, so it's kind of like fucking she got denied.
初めてなのです。
Don't
こ
word
れ
it
ほ
like
ど
that.
まで市場のままに戦ったことも、そして敗れたことも、幕軍にいた頃はついぞなくて。
Of course. A soldier's sword belongs to the shogunate. Personal duels are strictly forbidden. And on the battlefield, defeat means death. No wonder she had not experienced either.
だからあなただけです。私を打ち負かした人は。
誠に光栄です。
These words are my desperate attempt at a courteous response, but as I speak them, I find that they ring truer than expected. However many times I replay this morning's duel in my head, I still cannot believe my victory was of my making. It must have been the work of some kind-hearted spirit, or perhaps good karma from a past life. I have no way of knowing if she heard me, but a few moments later, she pulls the blankets up to hide her mouth and whispers,
それとその私が
I mean, if you consider us like holding your like splitting flesh back together so someone can stitch you into one piece like romantic, then sure. Now I really don't know what to say. Fortunately, my instincts know how best to respond.
食事の用意をしてきます。
Yep, escape! Pull the ejection lever! Flight!
港駆け
No, you don't get it, man. You're supposed to be
分かっ
like,
てるな
huh,
影焼き。
if you thought that
まず
swordsmanship
重要
was
なのは
impressive,
食事の
wait
温
till
度
you
だ。
see what I can do with
これ
my
は
other
必ず厚め
sword.
にしておくこと。
And she goes,
でないとフーフーしてやる理由がなくなって本末転倒だぞ。
mm-hmm.
冷ます時にはさりげなく口をつけたりするとポイント高い。あくまでさりげなく、しかし必ず気づかれるようにやれ。いいな、ここ難しいから。最終段階、サジを伸ばして食べさせてやる。この時は手元を見るな、相手の目を見ろ。瞳と瞳で見つめ合え。大丈夫だ、こぼしたらこぼしたでまた別の進展パターンがある。
No?
さあ、やってみろ息子よ。
You get some!
はい。母が失礼しました。
いえ
Ignore.
お気になさらず、
息子が
空腹のはずなので、すぐ
めるよ。
食事をしに去ります。ではどうぞ、ご安心を。すでに適温です。
Yeah, no scolding food, please.
もしや、猫舌ですか？
Oh, could you blow on it for me? I'm too weak.
いえ、いただきます。
The captain gingerly swallows the spoonful of porridge I hold out to her. She seemed a little unsure at first, but at least there's no sign that she burned her tongue. Seeing this, I scoop a second spoonful.
味にご不満などは？
I mean, it's porridge. Kind of the whole point of it is to be, well, a little bit bland.
いえ、
申し訳ありません。せめてもう少し彩りがあればよかったのでしょうが。
Yeah, we got this big house, but we're kind of poor. Half a bowl of rice and half barley, mixed with a single egg. A meal that offers little in the way of taste or nutrition.
最近はこの町の食料事情も思わしくなく。
Oh yeah, gee, I wonder whose fault that is. Is the taste not to her liking after all? It takes me about 3 seconds to realize the truth. Damn. What I said just now sounded like a backhanded accusation. She having played a role in the town's impoverishment. That's not how I meant it, but of course, that's how she would take it.
幕府の食料管理が未だに
There
厳
we
しい
go.
もので、
Deflect.
都市部では緩和が始まっているそうで
Place
す
the
が、
blame on someone else.
司法が恩恵に預かるのは今しばらく先でしょう。もっとも現状でも終戦直後に比べればはるかにマシ。
My ham-fisted attempt to correct my mistake appears to have produced no result. The captain still seems uncomfortable eating the porridge. Too late to take it back now. Suppose I have no choice but to address the elephant in the room. It's not a topic that can be avoided in any case.
狩猟殿、
はい。
改めてお願いいたします。町に対する略奪行為をどうかやめていただきたい。
I bow low. This time, I see no need to bring up her promise. Something tells me that she will take it into consideration even without my shoving the IOU in her face. In which case, not mentioning it is proper courtesy. Alas, though her silence indicates that she is indeed considering the matter, her expression is more pained than acquiescent. In all likelihood, this means that despite the weight of her promise, she cannot choose to abide by it. There is no mystery here. The bandits did not become bandits because they wanted to make us suffer. To them, it is a matter of survival. It would be easy to dismiss their problems as none of my concern, but if there is to be a peaceful resolution, then I must consider their position as well. After some thought, I come up with a proposal.
今あなた方が住まわれている山、裏へ回ると人手を失って放置されている田畑があります。
Oh yeah, probably like,
そ
you
こ
know,
に入られてはいか
oh
が
yeah, all
でし
those landowners that got drafted and died in the war, so it's like untended properties. You guys can just squat there, you know, become farmers. I don't know, resettle.
私たちをこの町に迎え入れると。
はい。無論現段階では自分一人の思案です。しかし山賊行為の廃止と将来的な町へ
Yeah,
の
just
食料
become
供
like
給が約束されるのなら、
members of the community instead of, you know, beating us up all the time.
あなた方の入植、そして十分な収穫が得られるまでの生活物資
Now
供与、
maybe if we actually like you,
これ
we'll
を
be
町の
willing
人々
to
に認めさせることは不可
share
能で
our
はありま
lunch
せん。
with you instead of you having to beat us up to steal our lunch money, huh?
及ばずながら自分が尽力いたします。母も協力してくれることでしょう。
お母様、
先ほどの
Yeah, the weirdo.
このような言い方はなんですが、町に対して強い影響力を持っています。我が港家は平民身分。しかし港本家の祖はこの界隈を治めていた領主です。
Yeah, we're a
そ
big
のような背
landlord.
景がありますため、
We could evict half the town.
それで
My explanation seems to have satisfied her with regards to something other than my mother's influence. Her hand reaches up to touch her wounded shoulder, the motion only half conscious.
いくらかの不満は出るにしろ、体制は平和と実益を求める方向へ傾くと思われます。あなたが集団をよく統率し、これまで深刻な衝突を起こさなかった事実も。しかしまずはあなた方の意志が肝心。どう
Yeah,
でし
you
ょう。
know, fucking swords to plowshares. Let's go.
受け入れていただくわけには参りませんか。
I fall silent, having said all that there is to say. As I gaze at her, unblinking, I see indecision swirling in her eyes. From a purely practical standpoint, the deal is perfect. The town will be freed from the bandit plague and gain a new source of income in exchange. I can see no reason why any of the townsfolk would refuse to forget the past and embrace this future. The same goes for the former soldiers. They must know that their thieves' paradise will not last forever. Sooner or later, when the central provinces are more stable, the shogunate will turn its attention to pacifying the countryside. If they continue on this path, their heads will end up on pikes. If, however, they shed their armor, bare their swords, and hide in plain sight as farmers, then they may escape that miserable end. Perfect for both sides. So if there is any reason for her to reject my offer, it can only be... Even before she opens her mouth, I know what she will say.
狩猟殿、
私たちは武士なのです。港景明。
Her voice is what it was when I faced her this morning, hard and cold, like forged steel. Steel, a suit of armor to protect the weak flesh beneath.
武士なのです。
Her mask of brazen self-assurance tells me that these words are not meant as an excuse. She speaks them as simple fact, begging no forgiveness and offering no disclaimer. And so I'm unable to refute them. She is a warrior indeed, born and bred to follow a singular way. Such is her pride, and moreover, she is a leader of warriors. Their pride, too, is hers to protect. Will she abandon the way of the sword? Will she ask her men to forsake their pride? Never. I gather up the now cold porridge and turn to leave. She says nothing, but I can feel her eyes against my back as I go. I shut the shoji screen behind me, then breathe a deep sigh. The cold air is grating against my skin. Ugh, fucking Warriors Honor bullshit. What a fucking load of crock.
我ながらなんて恥を知らない武士。
Yeah, just gaslight yourself. It's cool. Yeah, don't worry about it.
本当にくだらない。
Nothing at all.
そうか。なかなかうまくはいかないか。
はい。
The next morning at breakfast, I fill my mother in. Recalling my failure has not been helping my appetite. Everything tastes strangely bitter. A peaceful resolution. Knew from the beginning that it would be no easy feat, that only time and effort would produce the desired result. Hence, I was not terribly shocked when she rejected my proposal, or at least did not feel so at the time. However, it would seem that I was far more disappointed than I thought. As I relate the exchange to my mother, I find my forehead slowly but surely drawing closer to my soup.
焦るんじゃない、影明。
She shoots me a grin.
こういうことはじっくりと腰を据えてやるもんだ。慌てたってどうにもなんない。
Yeah, she's already becoming pliable, you know. A couple more days of you working your magic, she'll be like putty in your hands.
分かってはいますが。
Part of me wants to leap to the mountaintop in a single bound. Without the wings of Mamusha, though, I would only fall to my death. Well, if you're leaping up a mountain, you wouldn't really fall. You just kind of like go right into the ground, you know, because you're going up a slope. You would just land. More haste, less speed. Admonish myself.
で、今日はどうする？
とりあえず朝食を運びがてら狩猟殿の容体を伺ってまいります。
うん、そうか。ところでお前さ、狩猟殿ってあの娘さんの名前。
Even after mulling it over for a day and a night, she still arrives at the same answer. Suicide. She lifts herself slowly from the futon. The wound he gave her was deep, but missing vital organs. Moreover, she's a musha. A day's rest is all she needs to recover mobility. Enough, at least, to take her own life. She would slit her belly here and now, if she could. That is out of the question. Yeah, you will have to, like, change out the tatami mats. That shit's expensive.
見つからないように抜け出さないと。
Do the deed here, and she will ruin far more than a single tatami. If she dies for any reason while in this family's care, her vassals on the mountain will be compelled to go to war against the town. That would defeat the whole purpose of ending her life by her own hands. First, she must return to her camp and explain things to her brother. Ugh. I just woke up right before I started recording. Cut me some slack. Only then can she take responsibility for breaking her word. Twice. Though her blood is unlikely to offer the injured party much solace.
武士と称するならね。
And as a warrior, she has no other choice, just as she had no choice but to reject his offer. As a warrior. What is a warrior? One who rules by force of might. A warrior may lead the people, protect the people, or take from the people as she sees fit. What a warrior may never do is depend on the people. Last night, Minato Kageyaki offered her and her men a place in the town, land to live on and work on as their own. He offered mercy, he offered forgiveness, and that is why she could not accept. To draw on the kindness of the people is not the warrior's way. To steal from the people, to earn their hatred and scorn, that is the one path a warrior may walk. It is the lowest, meanest path, but a path nonetheless. Even bandits are still warriors, but if she takes the hand he offered, then she will no longer be a warrior. She will have abandoned the way of the sword. God damn it, you all just have fucking worms in your head. Fucking acorns rattling around in your skull, no brains. She knows. That'd be the best choice, not just for the town, but for her and her men. But she also knows that it cannot be. Warrior is not just a job description, but a way of being that brands itself onto the body and soul. One who is born, who has lived as a warrior, can never be anything but. Moreover,
武士は荒ぶるものだから決して人の情けなどこうてはならない
she whispers, reminding herself of the truth of her way. It is as she says, a warrior has no such right. Even though Minato Kageyaki's proposal does indeed benefit the town, it is obvious to her that it was predicated first on the well-being of her and her men, who, to the townspeople, are nothing more than bandits. If the town's interests were his only concern, he would simply have demanded that they pack up and leave, and because he did not, she has no choice but to refuse. Had he made such a demand, there would have been nothing to consider. She would not have been able to acquiesce, of course, but nor would she now be suffering with the decision. He could have hated her as a faithless villain, and she could have hidden beneath the shield of her duty to clan. A far more straightforward scenario, even if it would share the exact same end. Or perhaps, if her terms had governed her fate alone, then she surely would have accepted them then and there. He defeated her, after all.
そうね
She finally realizes the true reason for her decision. He defeated her. It was his right, therefore, to take from her life, limb, whatever he pleased. That she could have accepted. But for her, the defeated, to receive his favor, why, that would make her...
まるでチリアクタのよ
That's it. That's what galls her the most. To accept his mercy now, after losing to him in single combat, would be to repudiate the very concept of a contest of equals, and that she cannot allow. If she is to remain his equal, then she must pay him his due as the victor.
彼にそう言えばなら提案を受け入れて
You all think too much.
そう言うでしょうけれど
It's not that hard of a problem. Just... you're all so dumb. But if she and her men who benefit from it most, but it is she and her men who benefit from it most, then the town coming in a distant second. Minato Kageyaki, the individual, gains nothing from it. His offer is too kind, much too kind, to his enemies. Accept it, and she will render herself a base, vile thing, unworthy to breathe the same air as he.
それが嫌だからなんて
The more she thinks about it, the more convinced she is that suicide is the only option. If her pride will never be satisfied... Oh, God. What was that? If her pride will never be satisfied until she gives him something that benefits him. And if she has no such thing to give, then her very existence is an impediment to peace. The least she can do is put an end to... Yeah, we're kind of, not doing this from the goodness of our own heart. He Hikaru's attacks happen most often just after sunset. It is rare for one to occur in the morning. When one does, however, it is always hellish beyond measure.
申し訳ありません、スバル様。足をお願いします。
I cry. Hikaru's spasms have finally surpassed my ability to suppress them. My mother doesn't answer. She doesn't need to. As the words leave my mouth, she's already there, wrapping her arms around her daughter's legs to keep them from twisting out of their sockets. One danger passed, but no time for relief. A heartbeat later, as if seizing the chance, Hikaru lifts her head from the mat.
Kageki!
Now get your hand under there. I'll kill her. I have only a split second to react. As quickly and gently as possible, I cradle my sister's head to support her neck, now as brittle as a healthy man's pinky finger. At that moment, the sharp crack of a twig snapping does not reach my ears, for which I thank every god I can name. That is the peak of today's attack. Gradually, Hikaru's convulsions subside. It takes quite a while longer, however, for my heart to stop pounding.
まあ、なんだ。ギリギリセーフ。
Yep, just by a hair.
結果オーライ。偉いぞ、息子よ。
早く。
影明？
早く。しないと。
落ち着け、息子。急いでどうにかなることと、どうにもなんないことがある。
I mean, I know what you're getting at, but you know,
分かっています。
we're under a time limit here, yeah?
首領殿にお願いします。もう一度、何度でも、山賊をやめていただけるように。
Maybe just, explain why you need her to stop?
それしか、光を治せる医者を本家に招いてもらうには。
ああ、そうしな。光は私が見ておくから。
はい、お願いします。
While the captain eats her breakfast, I devote my every mental faculty to a single question. How do I get her to change her mind? Clever ploys and masterful arguments sear my brain by the dozen, but I discard them all. In the end, there is only one viable course of action.
お願いいたします。
I kneel by her bedside and touch my forehead to the mats.
刀を桑に持ち替えて暮らすがごときは、武士たる者の選べる道にあらず。それは重々受けたまわりました。
I mean, no, they totally can. You're just being fucking freaks about this.
納得もしております。
The response I received from her yesterday left no room for argument. Therefore, I do not argue.
しかし、そこをあえて、どうか、この町のため。
I refrain from appealing to her own self-interest. We have already established beyond a doubt that my proposal does not serve her interest or those of her men.
どうかお願いいたします。山賊をやめていただきたい。
This is all I can do. Prostrate myself and beg for her to accede. I already know what her answer will be. I tried before to convince her on the practical grounds and failed, for she and her men are not purely practical creatures. They're warriors. They live by might, by the gun and the sword. No longer do they march under Rokuharu's banner. They have no flag, no lord to fight for. If they wish to remain warriors all the same, then they indeed have no choice but to do as they've done. I already know what her answer will be, and that is why I beg. When no logic will serve, and all rhetoric has run dry, then all that remains is to beg. Beg them to forsake their way, to abandon all that they are and start anew.
どうか。
話はそれで終わりですか？
She speaks for the first time since my entreaties began. The words are cold. Cold, and yet... Something strikes me as odd. The words themselves are cold, but the tone... Her voice bears no trace of the venom I'd expect. There is a hint of accusation, but that is not the same.
それで終わりなのですか？
は？
Again, hard words with that same soft tone. What could this mean?
他には何も。
You know, the reason we're on this fucking mad quest to begin with?
いえ、何もありません。
The captain meets my reply with a heavy sigh. If I'm not mistaken, she seems both frustrated and amused.
港影明、家はただの平民と言っていましたけど、
はい。
嘘つき。
Yep, you're fighting for others. You have the warrior soul.
は
I don't follow.
あなたも武士
Commoner
です。
fights for himself.
ダメなところだけ。人の情けにすがるということがどうしてもできない。こんなにもやるせない。
Yeah, it's real fucking annoying.
知らなかった。こういうものなのね。
They do, so many S's. She seems to speak these words more to herself than to me, a soft, vaguely mocking smile upon her lips. Don't understand. What is she saying? What does she know?
武士のもといは武力。
お
その武力で敗れた以上、私も私の兵たちも武士を捨てるのが筋なのかもしれません。
狩猟殿。
港影明、
Thank you.
兵の説得は私が請け負います。その代わり私ども一党の受け入れについて
Yeah, sure.
あなたの確約をいただけますか。
I mean, it might not be an easy, quick transition process, but,
はい。
n-
必ずや
not everyone's going to be on board with it, but,
責任を持ちまして。
my response is almost entirely instinct. My mind had not yet caught up with this sudden turn. Bleh, words, I'm just making this stuff up. Am I dreaming, or...
すみません。私の着物の懐に矢立てと紙があったと思うので
Wait, you
す
just
が。
like carry an ink block with you, or what, like a pen?
は
In a daze, I retrieve the paper and brush case from her personal effects. She takes them, dips the brush, then applies it to the paper with a smooth, practiced touch.
どうぞ。
I take the paper from her hands and hold it to the light. Its contents are simple and to the point. A line agreeing to accept my proposal, a promise to never again raid the town, and at the bottom, the sign of her house. This is exactly what I wanted, everything I wanted. With this, I can save Hikaru. But why? Why would she suddenly...
深くにも気づきませんでした。
You live in a wall with paper...
Yo, yeah,
I mean, you live in a house with paper walls. What the fuck did you expect?
何のことかしら。
Yes, fucking Kageyaki's living in your walls with the paper. Don't worry about it. Her tone, sharp and dismissive, recalls our first encounter. I fold the contract carefully, tenderly, and set it on the floor beside me. Then I place my hands on the floor, fingertips touching, and bow deeply one last time.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
礼には及びません。私は取引に応じただけです。
Yep, better to just like fucking sow the fields than get, killed by the shogunate later.
我が一族のキス。どうかよろしくお願いします。
はい。
The next 2 weeks are a whirlwind of activity, a series of events and images rushing by in flashes of light. The old master gives his grudging approval. My mother and I inform the town. The townsfolk, by and large, rejoice. The raids cease immediately upon the captain's return to the camp, though I do not have a chance to speak with her after that. The town celebrates its first peace in months. The old master praises me for my work. As promised, he summons the doctor from Germany. And finally, at long last, the eminent Dr. Mengele alights atop this little corner of the far side of the world like a shining angel of hope. What? Fucking those words were hard to say.
どうしてもっと早く呼んでいただけなかったのか。
The doctor's tone, or rather his interpreter's, is heavy and final. As he finished his work, there's nothing more to be done. Hikaru's condition has improved visibly. Her hair is still thin and her bones still showing, but that aura of death that hung over her for more than a year is gone. She has ceased to moan and howl like a wounded beast. Now her breaths come soft and tranquil. But her eyes are the same. Dark, empty, seeing nothing, beads of clouded glass. The window to her soul remains closed.
このジーバスベイの恐ろしさの一つは絶え間ない苦痛にあります。投薬で抑えるにも限度がある。
Yeah, it can't be good for your mental health to, you know, for that.
治療が遅れれば遅れただけ深刻な被害を及ぼします。記憶の混乱、そして喪失、人格の変貌、知能の対抗分裂症状。最終的には廃人化。
先生、妹は
1年もの時間、重篤な患者がこの国の医療レベルで生き延びてこられたのは驚異的です。ご家族の献身的な看護に加え、患者本人の心身が強靭であったこともあるでしょう。
I mean, yeah, not to get all, you know, fucking Revenge of the Sith episode 3, but kind of like, you know, will to live is a pretty important factor in recovery stuff like this, you know, because if, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, you just give up and then instantly, bleh, you're dead, but, you know, there is a correlation between the two.
ですから断定的なことは申し上げません。奇跡的に回復を遂げる可能性もあります。
Yeah,
肉
just
体
gotta
的
keep
には
working
当
hard.
面心配はいりません。体力低下に起因する合併症だけが気がかりですが、その危険も時間をかけて肉体を回復させていくことで克服が可能でしょう。
You know, in the best of worlds where, you know, Ginseigo doesn't happen, it's like, well, you know, it may never be entirely the same as it was before, but, you know, it will get better.
私にできることはここまでです。
A miracle. This is the first time I've ever given such serious thoughts to what that word means. To the man who has no need of its power, a miracle is like the winter coat you buy in the summer. You know that it is there, hanging in your closet, ready to wear when the months turn to cold. To the man who does not need one, to the man who does need one, however, a miracle is like the same coat, only locked in a chest to which there exists no key. You know what it offers, what it can give you, and you know that it will never be yours. So, is a miracle a symbol of hope? No, it is the opposite. A miracle is a symbol of the unbridgeable gulf, the impassable gap, the infinite distance you must cross to reach it. A miracle is a measure of despair. It's starting to become fall for real here. I can feel it in my sinuses and my eyes. My fall allergies are nearly as bad as my spring allergies, which fucking nearly incapacitated me this year. But they still get me. A miracle. I haven't the slightest idea how to bring one about. It wasn't like this before today. I had a clear goal, to bring Dr. Mangale to Yamato, and means to that end, solve the bandit problem. Now what do I have? A goal, yes, but no path to reach it. How do I pull my sister back from the void? Is it even possible? Why didn't you send for me sooner? The doctor's words echo in my head, each refrain a condemnation of my indolence. If I'd brought the doctor sooner, could he have saved Hikaru? I mean, it definitely wouldn't have gotten this bad if I had tried a little harder, been a little smarter, a little stronger. Would my sister now, not now be cured?
よっ
A sudden slap on my shoulder jostles me from my thoughts. I realized that I was staring at the ground, my head drooping lower by the second. It is, of course, my mother who saved me from planting my face in the dirt.
どうした？何を暗い顔してる？
He's always moody about one thing or the other. Her tone is light, her smile cheerful. I can see at a glance that they are merely a facade, and the knowledge a stake in my heart. I look back to the ground, unable to meet her gaze.
申し訳ありません。
なんで謝る？息子。
自分の力が足りませんでした。もう少し自分に能力があれば。
I mean,
もう少し早く
you
博
can't
士を
beat
呼べた。
yourself up over everything, you know? I'm not gonna say, like, oh yeah, just look on the bright side, silver lining. It's like, without you, she wouldn't have any chance at all. But now she at least has a chance. So, gotta find solace where you can
も
in
う
the
少し
little
早く
things.
光を治療してやれて。申し訳ありません。
I know such apologies serve no purpose, but what else can I say? In these 20-odd years since my father saved me from a life of hardship, how have I repaid the Minato family? What have I done to be worthy of the name? Couldn't even save the heir, my own sister. I'm clearly ill-suited to my role as a human. Why couldn't I have been born as something more useful? A horse or a mule, perhaps? At least then I might have been of some service, rather than a drain on precious resources.
バカ者。
火花が見えました。
目が覚めたろ。あのな、影明。
As his eyes are swimming in his head.
さっき、光が眠ったんだ。こう、普通に寝息を立ててさ、気持ちよさそうだった。
Yeah, real sleep instead of the more like they just lost consciousness kind of sleep. I've only been in such bad fucking shape that I've been in that more like you just pass out instead of, you know, fall asleep condition. It's not fun. It's not good. It's not restful.
この1年、なかったよな。あんな安らいだね。
It's a lot of, you know, twisting and writhing in your sleep.
だからさ、影明、
はい。
あっさり諦めんな。
My mother's admonished. I know it's like admonishing, but admonition, sure, admonition is far gentler than her fist, but it is this that truly opens my eyes. Don't give up. That's right. That's exactly what I've done. To succumb to despair is to accept your powerlessness, to admit that there is nothing more that you can do. Fool, you know that isn't an option. If it were only my life at stake, then I could abandon hope and surrender. But this is Hikaru's life. How could I throw it away? Even the doctor was surprised by my sister's strength. Has she endured this year of suffering for me to give up on her now? What am I doing? Hanging my head. I still have a duty to perform.
光を助けるんだろ。私とお前で。
はい。
お前は光を助けてる。お前のおかげで、
Mm-hmm.
とりあえず光の体は良くなった。礼なんか言わんけどね。家族なら当たり前だ。
はい。
最後までやろうや。いいか？お前は後戻りしたわけでも、転げ落ちたわけでもないんだ。前に進んでるんだ。そいつを信じろ。
Yeah, you're just moving forward so fast that you're a little disoriented right now. Once you like get your legs beneath you again, you know, you'll be good.
立ち止まって後ろを見て。
Find your footing.
ああ、やっぱり別の道にすりゃよかったなんて。くよくよしてたってしょうがねえだろう。
はい。立ち止まっている暇などありませんでした。
I answer with a firm nod. I need to keep marching, even crawling if need be. The path ahead may be long and dark, but nothing will change if I turn back in fear. First, I should gather information about other victims of this disease. From there, I can look for examples of patients who've recovered and extrapolate a course of treatment. Anything would be more constructive than staring at the ground beneath my feet. Why didn't I realize it sooner? I'm still so weak.
まったく手のかかる子だ。
はい。この年になって
Maybe it's because you keep punching him in the head, you know. These multiple concussions have, you know, have affected his cognitive abilities.
恥じろ恥じろバカ息子め。でもまあ世話の焼ける子ほど可愛いってね。
My mother laughs, grinding her knuckles into my head. How strong she is. Have I learned nothing from her in all these years I've spent by her side? I must follow her example and cultivate an inner strength of my own. If not for my sake, then for hers.
メンゲレ博士はまだ本家に投留されているはず。早速明日にもお会いして、ヒカルの状態についてより詳しい話を伺ってまいります。
うんうん。
とりあえず今日のところは、どうも限界のようなので落ちます。
あれ？影明、お前なんで脳天から血が
Almost
ダ
like
ク
you
ダク出てん
fucking
の？
sucker punched him and
しか
now
も
he has like a
なんか
fucking
首の
brain
骨格が
aneurysm.
愉快に歪んでるし、まるでマウンテンゴリラにでも殴られたかのような。キャー！しっかりしろ息子よ！母を殺人犯にしてはならぬ！
Yeah, just get like a plunger and fucking take that dent out of his skull. Put some dry ice on it. It's like when you're taking a dent out of a car. It'll just pop back out. Having renewed my oath to save Hikaru, I would like nothing more than to devote all my time and energy to that task. However, other duties prevent me. Not work. I had to extend my leave of absence, but the right of Hikaru's succession, as per the old master's will. Minato clan law dictates that the rite of succession must be conducted when the next Minato priestess has reached the specified age, not before and not after. I know that Hikaru's illness, which struck just before her coming of age, has caused the old master no end of grief. The succession was his last great duty before he could enter retirement. But, thanks to Dr. Mengele, Hikaru has begun to recover, if only in body. She has not had a single attack since the doctor saw her. During the ceremony, the successor is required to perform a number of specified obediences. Obediences? Yeah, okay. Never really seen it used in that context before, but it makes sense. But though many and cumbersome, these do not require practice or even thought on the successor's part. With her mother leading her through the motions, Hikaru should be able to manage even in her current state. Imagine the old master wanted to seize this opportunity before anything else could go wrong. The date was set before Dr. Mengele had left for home. If I had had my way, I would have given Hikaru a little more time to recover. The ritual takes the better part of a day, and is a no small drain on the stamina of the participants. It was for these reasons that it could not take place while there was still the danger of Hikaru's attacks. That danger may seem to have passed, but I'm still worried about the possibility of a relapse. That said, neither my mother nor I could refuse the old master, not after he went to such lengths to summon the doctor from across the world. At least, I told myself, I could be there for her and do all that I can to lessen her burden. And now, the day has come. As always, my mother's intonations are beautiful. The monotonous, gotta put the emphasis on the right syllable, monotonous syllables. I just said that word and I can't even fucking read it. Syllables infused with a queer solemnity. Solemnity? Solemnity? Solemnity. 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 Yep. It's solemn. In her words is the weight of the centuries. 100,000, 10,000 repetitions performed by generations of Minato priestesses. It is required for all present to prostrate themselves during its recital, but even were it not, who could lift his head before such majesty? Moving my head as little as possible, I cast my gaze along the floor from my place at the rear of the hall. I looked to the front, past the 2 ranks of Minato clan dignitaries, with the old master at their head. Hikaru is there, her mother at her side. Leaning back in the floor chair, eyes half closed, she appears as if entranced by their pretentious chanting. For now, no, portentous, not pretentious. Portentous, yeah. For now, her condition remains stable. There have been many smaller observances and rituals leading up to this, but her stamina is holding. The chair supporting her is, of course, a violation of the rules of etiquette that govern the rite. The old master flew into a rage when we requested it, but ultimately had to acquiesce. It was that, or have the successor lying on the floor. With the way things are going, it seems likely that the rite will conclude without incident. Hopefully, there will have been nothing more to aggravate the old master's already tender nerves. Still, I remain on guard, ready to respond at a moment's notice should anything unexpected occur. My mother's chanting comes smoothly to an end. If this were one of the regular observances that are conducted throughout the year, then this is where she'd present the offering and bring the ceremony to a close. Today's ritual is different. Now she and Hikaru will perform the Kao Mise, or first meeting, the most important phase of the rite of succession. The Minato clan dignitaries leave the room. A few minutes later, they file back in. Now they are dressed in warrior garb, each with a sword clenched in his fist. The raiment may be decorative, and the sword ceremonial, but the meaning is clear. They have armed themselves. Now the ritual begins anew. The time has come to open the shrine. The shrine is already open, of course. It had to be, else the priestess's prayers could not have reached the divine presence within. But there is another door beyond the one that is open for common rituals, the inner door, called the Okumitobira. Man, I'm just making up syllables. Okumitobira. There we go. The Okumitobira is opened only on particular important occasions, such as the Minato's family rite of succession. Most years pass without the contents of the shrine ever breathing the outside air. The door is forged of heavy iron, like a gate to a medieval fortress. A few suits of antique armor rattle as the men wearing them shiver at the sight. As the high-ranking members of the Minato clan, they are privy to its secrets. They know why they are armed and armored. They know what this gate guards against. Following the rules of procedure, my mother proceeds to unlock the gate with a key that only she is permitted to touch. A dull, heavy sound signals the release of the entity within. She puts the key away, then advances on her knees to the front of the shrine, assuming her appointed place. She first pulls open the left door. At once, everyone, including myself, prostrates himself and raises his voice, the traditional call to herald the advent of the divine. This process repeats once more with the right door, and thus the gate is opened full. At last, the Minato clan's greatest secret is revealed. One is an ant queen cast in silver. One is a spider in the color of blood. Yet, neither could have been mistaken for the creatures that inspired it, for each was the size of a full-grown man, with flesh of mighty ancient steel. They are Tsurugi, not the Kazuuchi that now swarm the battlefield, but true Tsurugi, Shinuchi, each empowered by the soul of the smith who forged it. Only the warrior class may own Tsurugi. This has been the law in Yamato since antiquity. But though the Minato clan lost its warrior status and ancestral Tsurugi long ago, these two Tsurugi have remained in its keeping, hidden away in absolute secrecy for 400 years. They are the evil that must remain sealed for all eternity. It is not given to me to know their names or histories. I have been taught only that they must never be freed. But even if I had been told nothing, this one look would be enough to know their nature. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Only a fool could fail to notice the sinister aura emanating from these ancient weapons. For 43 generations, they have lain untouched, unspoken even in whisper. Now, before my eyes, their armor, unspoiled by blood or even dust, glistens and beautiful, terrible. On my mother's sidelong glance, I managed to wrest my gaze from the Tsurugi. Oh, that was close. Any longer and I feel my soul might have been torn from me. She has lifted Hikaru to her feet. Now she carefully guides her staggering daughter to the open shrine. There's only a few paces to travel, but even that might be too much for Hikaru in her current state. Now is the time of greatest danger. I have to keep what little wits I possess about me. I shake my head clear of the lingering daze and focus on Hikaru's back. The physical therapy we have put her through seems to have worked. Supported by her mother, Hikaru is able to proceed step by unsteady step towards the shrine. As it turns out, the body is able to perform certain rudimentary tasks such as walking without conscious thought. Fortunate, as it would most certainly not do to have the next priestess carried on the back of her predecessor. After several long, painstaking moments, Hikaru finally makes it to the open shrine. At that moment, everyone but her breathes a heavy sigh. The two Tsurugi that are sealed within have now been shown their next guardian. Thus, the first meeting, the final stage of the rite, comes to a successful close. It is no surprise that all in attendance would be relieved. But it is that relief, perhaps, that undoes us. A sudden noise brings everyone in the room to his feet, or would, if those present were not disciplined enough to contain their surprise. As is, all faces twist in shock, and all eyes go to one corner of the assembly, where an elderly gentleman gapes at something by his knees. The sound was a sword hitting the floor. Must have loosened his grip when relief took him. The old master spears him with a furious glare, and the unlucky elder scurries to pick up his sword and stuff it into his belt. And that is the end of that. Or would be, if not for one more problem. I'm the first to notice what has happened, though why it happened, I cannot say. Was it Hikaru reacting to the sound? Was it my mother, turning quickly with her daughter in her arms? I know not. I know only what I see. Hikaru's hand has somehow, at some point, landed atop the Silver Queen Ant, atop one of the Tsurugi that must never be touched, not even during this very ritual. Doesn't take long for my slack-jawed stare to draw notice. The barely audible gasp, "Oh, now I've done it," and voiceless roar, "You clumsy fool!" come as one, the moment my mother and the old master trace my gaze. In a flash, before anyone else can notice, my mother pulls her daughter's hand away from the Tsurugi. 3 pairs of eyes come together, each with its own response to the crises. The strongest by far is the old master's. If the rage in his eyes had physical force, I have no doubt it would strike my mother and I dead on the spot. The more practical, however, is mother's. Act like nothing has happened, her eyes say. Ultimately, there is no choice but to do just that. The old master scowls furiously, but says nothing, and I breathe a helpless but slightly amused sigh. If the silver Tsurugi had transformed into a 10-story tall, fire-breathing monster at Hikaru's touch, that would be one thing. Fortunately, no such disaster has befallen us. It was merely an accident. Best to hurry and finish the ceremony. When I think of how the old master must feel having to turn a blind eye to such an egregious violation of tradition, I sympathize, even though I know he would not appreciate my sympathy. The least I can do is make certain that no more anomalies occur. So decided, I returned my attention to Hikaru. And that's when it happens. The final anomaly. Oops, you turned it on.
No.
Oh? Hello, little Onishi girl, what's up? Now this is a surprise. No one has ever joined me in my prison before. Welcome, guest. Let's have your name.
あれは村正という剣である。
Tsurugi?
さよ
Oh, that makes you a weapon.
う。いかにもあれは武の器である。
Ah, so you exist to protect the weak and bring peace to the world. No, weapons are used to kill. Don't you?
いいな。さにはあら。
But are you not a vessel of might?
武である。
Then, you exist to fucking lay low your
武
enemies.
とは
Yeah.
戦を止める者にあらず。
Oh?
強砲なり殺法なり。武とはただ命を奪う
Yep.
力を言う。
My mother and brother would disagree, I think. They say that might is a tool to save lives, that the true warrior wields his sword for peace.
そ
What disgrace.
やはりすでに正しき武は忘れ去られたか。くだらぬ偽善がまかり通っておるか。我が父の苦闘は報われておらぬか。刃を見るがいい。矢尻を見るがいい。
Yeah, what about him?
その鋭さは肉をえぐるためのものなり。臓腑を貫き引き裂くためのものなり。なぜそこに欺瞞を重ねる。具にもつかぬ飾りで覆う。
Oh no, wait, I did that in my Jack voice. It's Sam that says that. My bad. I got my Metal Gear fucking quotes mixed up.
守るための力、和をもたらす力と、なぜ偽善をもって真実を隠す。刃を見よ、唯一の真実はそこにある。この鋭さは
Yep.
人を殺す。武とはただそれ限り。他には一辺たりとなし。
Well, I can hardly refute your argument. Weapons are made to kill. No two ways about it. I myself have wondered how many men can speak of peace with such instruments in hand. If peace is what they desire, then why don't they wave signs reading hugs and kisses instead? I'll never understand the way which warriors glorify. Well, you know, it's the whole fucking speak softly, carry a big stick thing, you know? Because you can fucking preach virtue and peace as much as you want. But without, you know, something to back it up, you know, someone with their own big stick is just gonna kill you and fucking do things their way. Which, might not entail, you know, such virtuous, you know, supporting idea structures.
ねじ曲げられたからだ。真実の武は単純にして明快なもの。
So you say. But a question, Muramasa.
何か
The mother would foster peace with her might. Where then does your might lead?
武はただ荒れ狂うばかりの力。
There is no end.
殺法なり強砲なり。己の刃を善と言い、敵の刃を悪というも、世に善悪の定めは単一ならず。故に誰もが己の善なるを信じ、敵の悪なるを憎む。
Yep, thank you for the fucking 14-year-old philosophy class here.
故に武が一殺するならば、
those
一前一
deep
役
fucking
共に
end of
滅ぶ
middle school philosophy questions you ask yourself.
ゆえに武は善ならず武は悪ならず
Yeah, it just is.
殺す
That's what you
霧の
make it.
殺法なり殺法の果ては自明である強き者のみ生き残り弱きすべては滅びよう
And in the end,
世界は滅び文明はついえ命は枯れ果て
probably true.
唯一の最強者のみが残るであろう武の行き着く先はそこである
I see. And what will be this warrior's prize?
さてなあ神かもしれぬよ
Godhood?
崇める者とでなかろうが世界を壊すほどの武の極人神とでも呼ぶほか術はなかろうて
Of course. Of course. That's the answer.
ん
Ha. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha.
何を笑う
Hikaru's a little wonky in the head at the moment. For joy.
喜び
Muramasa, you've shown me the way.
なんと
My father was stolen from me as I took my first breaths. I must take him back if I am to be whole. However, such an act would violate the laws of man. A child's father belongs to her mother. She cannot claim her for her own. So, though I was born with a piece of my soul missing, it has never been permitted to me to reclaim it.
なるほどそれでこの牢獄であったか
You did all... Fucking Ginseigo exists just for daddy issues? I'm disappointed in you, Hikaru. With no way to fulfill my purpose, I have been forced to remain here, forever bound, forever dreaming. But now, might. The law of might. If might will lead me to godhood, then the way is open after all. Become a god, and all will be well. The laws of man will bind me no longer. They will bind no one. If unbridled might is fated to consume the world, then the world's laws too must come to an end. Might, battle, the way of the warrior. I will follow this way in its utmost limit. I will destroy the world and become a god. And I will take back what is mine.
己は狂い者か
Very.
ゆえんは知らねど父を欲するならば腕ずくでさらえばよいのではないか世を滅ぼすとまでほゆる意志あらば躊躇することなどあるまいに
No, that will not make him mine. His soul is given to the laws of man. Even if I claim his body, his heart will remain their prisoner. And so I will destroy the laws that bind him. Once I am a god, all will be permitted, even the act of claiming my father. It's perfect. Become a god and my father will be free to love me. He will accept me once more into the comfort of his arms.
言ったはずぞ武の先にある
Yeah,
は滅び
to
のみ
get there, it's inevitable that you'd have to, kill him. So,
己が武を求め
what does that not
武
care to
によ
you?
って子
Yeah.
孫の座につこうというのであればその父をも刃にかけねばならぬ通り
Simple. We shall both be gods. If my father gains power equal to mine, then neither of us will be able to slay the other. We shall mount the throne of heaven together, and there remain for all eternity.
よかろうまがつの者よならばその牢獄よりいであれを手にせよあれは己が半身となり武を示そうぞ
Indeed. Ah, my prison, this cursed prison. It has confined me from the moment of my birth. These chains that bind me are the hands of my mother, the hands that tore my father from me. These bars that hold me are the laws of man, the laws that would deny my dream. If it is the world that wishes to contain me, that would keep me here until the end of time. I thought that I would never be free, but I was wrong. Might will grant me freedom. If I'm stronger than my captors, stronger than all humanity combined, and this prison is nothing, I will shatter it like glass. At last, the time has come. You will bow to my might, world. You will know me a god, and I will have my father back. Woo! Going out to fuck your dad. Just normal girl stuff, I guess. And with that, weird encounter. That's where we're gonna end it here for today. I know, so sad. Only an hour 15 after like a week's break, but I'm tired and hungry, and I want to stop. So, oh god, another reason I need to stop. I'm fucking rotting from the inside out. Apparently, I'm about to fucking die. Yeah, we're done. But before we leave, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you guys all next time for the next episode of Full Metal Demon Muramasa. Catch you guys there later.